You know the great thing about birthdays and holidays? Presents, of course. And not just the gifts themselves, but the anticipation that comes with them. Not quite knowing what's inside that wrapping, yet eager to find out. Well, that anticipation is half the fun. Well, what if a meal could be a present? That's just one joy of cooking in Papillote, or in paper. While in Papillote cooking sounds fancy, and you'd certainly pay a small fortune for it if you were to have it dining out, the truth is it's really easy. And better yet, you probably have everything you need for in Papillote cooking already at your house. Namely some parchment paper and an oven. Heck, even a toaster oven will work for this. Cooking in Papillote is more than just making a meal. It's like giving your loved ones or even yourself a gift. Today I'm going to show you how to cook in Papillote 3 different ways and show you how fast, easy, and delicious it is. So let's get in Papillote! Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And after watching this week's episode, you're gonna know how to cook in Papillote. Now, yes, if you watched last week's episode, in Papillote is the correct answer to the trivia question. It is indeed the French term for cooking in paper, specifically parchment paper. Congratulations to everybody who knew the correct answer to that. So yes, it sounds fancy, but as with most things French, it sounds better when it's in that language. In Papillote, cooking is simply cooking in parchment paper, or it could even be foil. Now, in Papillote has been around a long time, and you can kind of think of it as the OG fast food. Like that stuff you pick up in the drive-thru, well, it's wrapped in paper and there's no dishes to do afterward. When you're done eating, you just toss the paper or the foil or whatever you're in Papilloting in into the garbage. But unlike that junk you get in a drive-thru, well, it's not a big greasy mess. The meal that you make in Papillote is going to be delicious and you know exactly what is inside that package. Now, cooking in Papillote is very quick. It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes and it's best suited for thin, lean foods. I'm talking things like fish, like thin, lean cuts of chicken and vegetables. In Papillote is not the method you would want for something like a big thick T-bone steak or a big pork chop. Save those things for the grill or the skillet or, well, not in Papillote. Now, if you've never cooked in Papillote, you might be wondering what all the fuss is. Why would you even want to do such a thing? Well, like I said in that intro, not only is it kind of, a culinary spectacle, you're opening that present, so to speak, and it's not only fast and, well, easy to clean up, but most of all, it's simply delicious. So in Papillote cooking, it benefits from a couple of things. It benefits, first of all, from the high stable heat of an oven. We're going to cook at about 425 degrees. But in addition to that dry heat, it's also going to steam itself. So because the food is locked in that pouch, that means all of the moisture and all of the flavors that are released from the fish or the chicken or whatever you're cooking, well, they kind of go back into it and they concentrate. And then they actually create a sauce so that you have a nice, super moist, super tender piece of food that is just absolutely spectacular. And again, it happens so fast, it's, well, faster than going to the drive-thru. Cooking and eating via the in Papillote method, well, it's more than just a meal, it's an experience, and it's really easy. So today we're gonna do in Papillote cooking, and I'm gonna show you how to do it with 3 different foods. We're gonna do it with this lean cut of thin chicken breast, this piece of salmon, and some veggies. So let's get our in Papillote on. The The first thing we're gonna do is preheat our oven, and we are gonna go pretty hot for this. We're gonna go 425 degrees, so let's get this started. Now, full disclosure, I flunked arts and crafts, so if I can make this work, well, trust me, you can too. And if you don't have parchment paper, that's okay. Foil also works for this just as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get a nice, pretty long length of parchment paper here. I'd say, I don't know, maybe that's about a foot or so, okay? And we're just gonna cut this. Now we are going to fold this in half, just like this. And here's where my lack of arts and crafts skills come in. We're gonna cut this into like a heart shape, okay? So we're just going to take our scissors, cut just like this. No judgment here, okay? I told you, I'm terrible at arts and crafts, but I graduated culinary school, so I made up for it that way. Okay, now we have this heart-shaped piece of parchment paper. Let's start with our salmon. So we'll take our thin piece of salmon here. We're just gonna put it right here, right at kind of this halfway mark, and we're going to season it a bit. We're gonna put some olive oil on here, just kind of rub this in. We're also going to put a little bit of salt and pepper, just like this. And since we're feeling French, we're going to use some herbes de Provence. Just shake those right on top. Let's put some veggies in here too. We're going to do some onions. You could use a slice of lemon here, really whatever you'd like. And then finally, we are going to do a splash of lemon juice, just like this. Remember, all of this is going to help make that amazing sauce. Okay, so we have everything in. Now we are just going to create our in papillote pouch. So we are going to fold this just in half, and now we are just going to make creases. So we are just going to fold just along the edges, and we are going to make a nice packet, just like this. So here again, just keep folding. We kind of want the folds to overlap, just like this. Keep folding and creasing, and then when you get to the edge, you can just kind of wrap it up like this. And here you go, we have our in papillote package. Now we are just going to do the same thing for the other items. And here we go. We have everything in their nice little in papillote nest. We have the salmon, the chicken, and the veggies. Now these are going to take different times to cook. The salmon's only going to take about 10 minutes, the chicken 15 minutes, and the veggies about 20 minutes. So I will take those out individually, but I'll show you what they look like when they are all nice and in papillote. So here they go into the 425-degree oven. And just like that, in 20 minutes, we have 3 different meals cooked in papillote. Are you ready to see what our culinary gifts look like? Okay, let's begin with our salmon. You can either use scissors to cut these, or you can do just what I like to do and kind of unwrap it. And oh my gosh, look at that. We've got this beautiful salmon here. Let's take a bite of this. Man, this looks, I wish you could smell this right now. Look at this. Delicious. Let's move on to our chicken. Again, we'll just kind of unwrap this like a present, and look at that. I mean, you can see all that juice. I bet I wouldn't even need a knife to cut this. Look at that. It just comes right apart. You can get some onions just like this. And finally, let's take a look at our vegetables. Look at that. These perfectly cooked, still steaming vegetables. Oh my gosh. If you could smell and taste this right now, just look at this. So there you go. Now you know how to en papillote. I cannot wait for you to try this method of cooking. Your results, I think, are just going to be, well, they're going to be absolute gifts. And if you've been cooking this way for a long time, I want to hear how you cook en papillote, what you cook en papillote, and your favorite en papillote recipes. Be sure to put that in the comments below. Before we get to trivia time, a little show and tell. I scored this at the thrift store lately, and I have admittedly been on a little bit of a blender bent of recent. I read about this machine in one of my cook's catalog books, and well, I've been wanting to find one, and sure enough, I found it this week. Now, I have a Vitamix and I have a Blendtec, but I wanted to check out this one. This is an old KitchenAid model. I think it's about 15 years old, and I really like it because it's got a glass jar, and this thing is heavy. I mean, I could be lifting weights with this thing. It's really heavy. But I believe this was made in America, and it's got some really cool functions. It's got, I think it's called a step start function, so that when you start it up, it doesn't immediately like start at a high speed and splatter everything everywhere. It starts at just a lower speed for a second and then ramps up. Anyways, a really cool blender, this old KitchenAid model. Do you have one of these, or did you ever have one? Did you have good luck with it? I think I'm going to keep it versus, like resell it or something, because I really like the way it looks and performs, and I'll probably donate one of my older blender models to make room for this. Okay, trivia time. Speaking of thrift store adventuring, I got this when I was in Virginia a couple months ago. Do you know what type of material this is? This is a very special type of glass. And well, if you know, I think your 1950s history, maybe around that time, you probably know what this stuff is. If you know what this is, or if you have a guess, be sure to put that in the comments below, and I will of course let you know the correct answer to what this is in the next episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time, I hope you want to cook.